Hey everybody, it's Chad with Nobody Else's Auto. 7 o'clock Central Time, Sunday evening time, Sunday night live chat. As always, we are live on two formats, both Facebook and YouTube. As you see me glancing back and forth, that's what I'm trying to do is keep up with comments on both formats. We've already got Bill on here with us, saying hit the like button. Bill's always got my back on there. I appreciate that. Helping try to support what we're doing here. So, let's see. Looks like we're going on Facebook as well. We'll give everybody a few more seconds to get their notifications to know that we are on. Big Job made it. Glad you're here, Big Job. Happy 2022 to you as well and everyone else. James is here. He's back. Joe's on Facebook. So Facebook seems to be working for the time being at least. So sometimes Facebook can be a little questionable here as of lately. Randy's on with us. Joe's on. Another Joe on Facebook. Got a couple of Joes on Facebook. David W. is back with us on YouTube. Chris is here. So great crowd jumping on right out of the gate. Shopcat made it. Glad you're here. Andrew from Arizona's on YouTube. We've been having a great crowd jump on here lately, and looks like we're building pretty quickly tonight. Kevin's here as well on YouTube. So glad you guys all took some time and made it back. Corky from Illinois, Jerry from New Mexico on Facebook. Brandon made it. Glad you're here with us again tonight. A lot of familiar faces popping up, plus a few new ones already. Randy from California. Glenn made it. Another one of our regulars. Lee's here. Tumas is here. Tumas, I don't have any 68 Chevelles at all. I've got a few 69 parts cars. There's very little left of them, but no 68s at all. Steel Ponies made it from North Carolina. Okay, get back to Facebook. We're missing some here. Robert's on with us. Tim's here. Vic made it back. Welly from Massachusetts as well. Dan's on from Defiance. Lots of familiar faces. Glad you guys all made it back, and welcome to all the new ones. Looks like Facebook's ticking along pretty good. We'll see if it hangs in there. So. My Facebook posts have been getting a lot better traffic here lately from what they were getting a few months ago too. So I don't know if there was something weird with their analytics or what. So we'll see what happens. Scott from Texas is on with us. Let's see. Kevin, hope you're staying warm. I'm trying. Yesterday was tough. I was in the office all day yesterday, and it was still tough to stay warm. Yesterday it was so miserable here. Tumas, driver and passenger door pillar, driver and passenger. A-pillars, driver and passenger on the 69. I don't know if you need like the structure cut out of the body or what you're talking about. You have to give me a shout on that later. Bill, 56 today, snow tomorrow back east. So Peter from Australia is on with us. John from Waco, Texas, and Clark from Colorado Springs just jumped on Facebook as well. So Old School's back with us. So big group jumping on tonight, which is great. So anyway, looks like everybody's got their notices and we're rolling. So Martin's here. Happy New Year from Martin from Tucson. Old School, who still has a hangover. So I'm good. We didn't get too carried away Friday night. We just went out to a friend's house. So, Tumas, if you don't text me, if you text me, I won't, it doesn't mean anything to me. Because you text me the same thing, what you text me. I don't know exactly what you need or what you're talking about. So, Andrew, the 39 Chrysler Royal, I do still have it. Give me a shout tomorrow. We can go over all the details on it. I think I've got the title back on it now. Yeah, it's still here. So, Rick, new sub from Wichita. Glad you're with us. Rusty from northern Wisconsin. So, but now that we're all here and rolling, yeah, call me after the live or call me in the morning. It depends on what time we get done tonight, Tumas. So, Don from Nashville, another one of our regulars. On comments, something we need to address here real quick. Shopcat sitting at negative 18 Celsius, which is about 0 Fahrenheit. So we're not quite that bad. We got close to 30 today, I think. Yeah, Andrew, that's a great car. That 39 is a great car. So give me a shout. I'll double check, see if I got the title, and we can go over the details on it. And I can get you any other specific pictures, whatever we need to do on that. But as far as comments go, something that we need to address and talk about, watch your autocorrects. This always happens, but it happened a lot last week. Things were getting auto-corrected. We get busy with a lot of comments popping up and things like that. And when people don't double check their comments before you send them, and and it's talking about donuts or Boba Fett or something like that, and then I'm trying to figure out what it means while there's more comments scrolling in, and then I'm missing some of these other guys. So basically, the only way that I know how to do it is if I glance at the comment and I can't make it out, and there's weird words in there that aren't making sense, I'm going to skip over it and go to the next one. We've got into that several times last week because of, a lot of it, I understand a lot of it was autocorrect, and sometimes you guys catch it right away, which is great. I appreciate, when you guys catch them and get them taken care of, or you'll comment right away again and straighten it out. But some of these get very, very confusing, and I'm trying to sort them out because I don't want to act like I'm ignoring anybody. But that's the only thing I know to do. If I glance the comment and it's weird and there's weird words in it and I can't put them together, skipping over it, going to the next one. So if you comment and I don't catch it or didn't recognize it, double check what you sent me and make sure it makes sense. And then we'll catch it, because we just lost a lot of time dealing with that last week. And it always happens, but last week was really bad. So let's see. James from Virginia. Martin Designs is here from Alabama. Old School said he failed spelling in second grade. So we'll work with you. And like I said, and sometimes if it's just one word, a lot of times I can still put it together. But we've had some issues where there was just so much of it, 2 or 3 bad words in one comment that just doesn't make any sense, and I don't care if Boba Fett went and got donuts. It doesn't matter, but some of it was getting that bad. So that's the only way I know to handle it. If I can't catch it, can't follow it, I'm going to the next one, and I'm going to the next one, and I'm going to keep rolling. So, Don says, buy more 53 to 56 Ford trucks. So, but yesterday here was nasty. And not only it got below zero, but I think the wind chills were definitely below zero. But, I was in the office all day and I couldn't even hardly get the office warm. And I keep the thermostat in the whole shop at 50 degrees. So I keep the big shop area heated and still couldn't hardly keep it warm in here. But I did get a lot of book work done. I got a lot of paperwork done, got a lot of computer work done. Wasn't as productive as I would have liked it to have been, but man, it was so nasty. I didn't want to be outside. I went out once and checked everything at the yard and made sure that everything looked cool out there, and then came back to the office. So thanks, Don. Appreciate that. Like I said, that's the only way I know to be fair to everybody is you guys help me out, double check your comments, and I'll do everything I can to try to catch them all. So James, the old Heather Thomas poster on the little shoulder. Yeah, that's actually been there the whole time. That's been up there for years, and I've never taken it down. So it's just behind that little toy. But yeah, been there for a long, long time. Bill, the cat is actually, there's like 4 cats in here tonight. I don't know who's going to show up, but Gray Kitty is over there on the file cabinet. So, and she's sleeping, and I don't think she really cares. So we'll see if she decides to grace us with her presence here after a while or not, but we'll see what happens. But she looks pretty zonked out right now. Kevin, the cold takes a toll on batteries. Absolutely, it definitely does. Old School, how do you pull parts when it's so cold? Well, I try not to. The stuff as far as eBay goes, I've got eBay done for about the next 4 or 5 months. Part of my yearly process is, well, maybe we'll wake her up. Maybe I can go wake her up here in a little bit if she decides to not make her appearance known. But the eBay stuff, because I do feed eBay every week as kind of part of my business process. And in October and November, I hit it really, really hard processing parts for eBay. Jerry, 41 Ford half-ton parts available? Not much. I don't have any half-ton front clip stuff. Obviously, I've got some cabs, but I don't have any 40 or 41 half-ton front clip stuff, depending on what you need. So let's see. James, here in Southeast Virginia, yesterday we hit 79, currently at 65. So, yeah, I wish it was still that way here. Tim said Facebook is freezing up again, which is what we've been fighting for the last couple of months. Even though I'm on fiber internet now, we're still fighting it. Daniel made it tonight. So everybody that's on Facebook, if we've got issues with the feed, you can always jump to YouTube to the Nobody Show channel on there. Plus, if you are watching the live feed on the Nobody Show channel on Facebook, I cannot see those comments. This video is shared to the Nobody Show page from the Nobody Else's Auto page. So if you want to comment, participate in trivia, any of that throughout the show, I cannot see your comments on the Nobody Show page on Facebook. You'll need to be on the Nobody Show page on YouTube or the Nobody Else's Auto page on Facebook. If you just want to watch, hang out, you're perfect there. No problems whatsoever. So big job. Your eBay store has tons of stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I've got about 1,400 parts on eBay. But as part of my process, getting ready for winter in October, November, I pull a ton of parts. I clean them up, get them ready to take pictures of. And basically on the other side of this wall, there's over 500 pieces right now, clean, stacked, processed, ready to take pictures of. So like today, when it was, got up into the mid to upper 20s, which was way better than yesterday, but definitely not a day you want to spend a lot of time outside. To get ready for this week, I take my little cart over to the pile and I get however many pieces I need to get this week done, stack them on my little cart. And then I've got another cart that I've got a blue background on. If anybody looked at my eBay stuff, you see a lot of stuff on a blue background. I've got a cart with a big blue plaque or a big blue board with blue covering on it that I take pictures of or take pictures on. So I roll the two carts outside, take pictures, roll them back in, and then I'm done. So that way, throughout these couple coming months, December, January, February, even maybe sometime into March, if I've got to go pull parts, it is just strictly sold orders. So the eBay stuff is all done, set up, and ready to go for the winter. So, Peter, how's the prices for classic cars in the States? Expensive over there right now. Everything is bonkers. Everything is crazy. We went to Mecum, Kansas City about 3 weeks ago, and there was about 10 or 12 of us. We got another cat up here. It's a new one. So we'll see if he wants to make an appearance. Come here, dummy. Mecum, Kansas City was crazy. Real curious to see what happens at Kissimmee. I got a feeling Kissimmee's going to be crazy. I got a feeling Scottsdale's going to be crazy. Market is extremely strong, though. Big job. Who does all your listings? You or your daughter? I do it all. There again, that's part of what I do. I take the parts off, I clean the parts, I shoot the pictures, I do the listings, and then I package the parts and I ship the parts. I do all of that as well on top of everything else. So, Eloy made it. Daniel hasn't. Daniel says he's going to get carts now to move parts around as well. So, Old School, do you get snow where you're at? We do occasionally. We got a couple of inches yesterday. Part of that was already gone today, but we did get a couple inches yesterday, Old School. We don't get a ton of snow in my area, but we do get a little bit. A bad snowstorm, which is once every few years, maybe 8 or 10 inches, but that's not even an every year deal. So we get a little bit. So, Richard, any 39 Ford two-door sedan parts cars? None of those at all. Have you heard of a Joe Gibbs Silverado edition? I don't think so. I don't remember any of those. Come here, cat. Here's another cat that you haven't seen before up here wandering around that's going to move because she's stepping on buttons on the keyboard, and we can't have that. So that's right, Big Job. It takes a lot of time, but I've got it pretty much down to a process, so it moves fairly quickly. Robert just got done with his eBay listings. New tax laws for payment sites going into 2022, and that's true as well. Now, that obviously doesn't concern me because I run it as a full-time business. So, my reports are what they are. So, in fact, Richard, I don't have the only 39 Ford I've got is one that we're going to actually build. So since you're on YouTube, be sure to check out the videos on that 39 Deluxe Coupe that we found in a lean-to a few years ago. That was pretty cool. Old School, I'm sure Chad works 10-hour days. I try to be at the shop by 7 in the morning. And if I'm lucky, I'm done by 9. Sometimes it's 10 at night is my typical day, Monday through Friday. Weekends, I may not get it till 7 or 8, but I'll usually work till midnight or 1 on Friday or Saturday night. So it's actually closer to 14 to 15 hours a day. It's kind of where I'm at. So, let's see. Roddy said they got a ton of snow in Colorado. Big Job says that cat's spooky. Yeah, it's Spooky the cat. Yeah. Yeah, Kevin, we've got I think there's about 10 cats in the shop right now. Most of them are out wandering around the big area, but there's a bunch of them in here. Number one's here. Actually, why's the cat named Dummy? I call all the cats dummies because they're always dummies and they're always getting in the way. So that's just kind of my normal slang term for pretty much any of the cats around here. Every one of them was a stray. We've caught them all, had them all fixed. There's about one, I think, still running around outside. We've caught her, had her fixed. So hopefully the situation is calming down now that there's 10 of them running around or something. But that's right, David. We got plenty of mousers, that's for sure. So Daniel, what's my favorite old color from GM? There, everything that you looked at based on the car and the style and the design and the era, there's different colors from different eras that look great depending on what it is. So that would vary depending on what we were talking about. All that. Martin Design said they had a dog named Stupid. Well, that's kind of why all my cats are called dummies, because that's kind of what they are half the time. So, but anyway, what else do I have in my notes? I was actually off of Facebook for part of this week. I had a couple of issues with one of my accounts, so I was off of it for 4 or 5 days. But back on there, and everything's up and rolling and fine there. Speaking of the payment situation that Robert was talking about a little bit ago, so had some issues with PayPal that I think everybody needs to know about. Begun to old bottles, how to clean them. A lot of times cleaning old bottles, put some water in them with some sort of abrasive material and shake it around in there to kind of, stir it up and try to shake and knock it loose on the inside. So cats, they can only build cars. Yep, that's true. See, yep, looks over. Oh, PayPal, back to PayPal. I had some rather interesting news I got from PayPal this week. They said they've transitioned this over the last year or so, which is going to change my PayPal policies after I found this out. PayPal has always, if you had to do a refund, they refunded the fees as well. They have a transaction fee, which was usually about 30 or 35 cents. They would keep the transaction fee, which I knew that. PayPal has changed that where they keep all of the fees. So if you sent somebody $500 or somebody sent you $500 and for some reason, or, say I had an order for $500 for the parts and I went to get this part off that was $500 and I found an issue with the part after I got it off that I couldn't see on the car and I have to do a refund, they're 3% plus their fees, it's between 15 and $20. If I have to do a refund on that, they keep that basically $20 now. And I was not aware that they were doing that. But number one says cold water and salt cleans, works inside bottles. So that might be another tip there as well. So something about PayPal is, now that they're keeping all of the fees, period. Well, as soon as you're paid, they're keeping all the fees, whether you do a refund, whether you do a partial refund, whether, you don't, they are keeping all of their fees, period. End of discussion. So that is going to drastically change my situation with PayPal as far as how things are going to be handled, because that just is, that's there again. It's always been pretty easy. If I had to do a refund, you click it and send it back. Well, now that you can't do that, I'm not going to take normal PayPal anymore. That's right. Big Job says Fred Sanford always called everybody a big dummy. That's true too. Daniel, idea for the next live feed, hard to find parts in the future. Yeah, that could be literally that conversation could go on for years, because that hard to find parts is going to be something that's going to vary by every single vehicle out there. So I don't know how in the world we would cover all that. So the PayPal situation, like I said, I just learned this about 4 or 5 days ago. At this point, my gut feeling is to not take PayPal unless it's friends and family, period. So that there is, so I don't get hung on fees. Who's responsible for shipping costs back to me? This is on stuff that I haven't even shipped. If I ship something to somebody and they say, hey, this isn't what I thought, If they want to ship it back, that's fine. But I don't pay the return shipping if they bought something wrong. And in today's world with pictures and stuff where I can text everybody a picture of something, that doesn't happen very often. It happens from time to time on eBay because people don't look at the pictures and don't read the descriptions. And I had it happen on a couple of side moldings for a Chevy about 2 weeks ago. There were for a 73 Impala, there were two different styles of side moldings. Well, the guy didn't look at the pictures, of which there were 12. Bought the moldings, I shipped them to him, and he files a claim against me through eBay, claiming I shipped him the wrong parts, and then posted a picture of what I shipped him, which was exactly what was in the pictures on the auction. There were two different styles of side moldings. He didn't look at the pictures. He bought the ones that were different than his. So there again, that's not it's not my problem. You got exactly what I sold you, and it fits that model of car, but it's the other style than what you had. There again, that's I don't know. I can't fix that. So with the way we can text pictures and stuff in today's world, it's not. It doesn't happen very often. Let's see. You got some comments popping up here. I can't keep up with that comment, Daniel. I don't understand where you're going with that. So some of that, when we talked about that earlier, check your autocorrect, check your comments, make sure it all makes sense before you send it. So I can't keep trying to decipher some of the stuff due to autocorrect. Tim says, "Oh, what eBay drunk shopping?" And yeah, sometimes that's part of it too. Kevin, sounds like PayPal is not too customer friendly now. That's exactly what That's exactly what it amounts to. Big job. That's BS on eBay. And that's right. That's what PayPal's doing. Is they're getting their cut regardless. So, Ben, my 37 Street Rod's checking in. Glad you're here. How big are retro builds like the 90s and stuff? I don't think there's a lot of that stuff starting to come around, but not a lot. Also, the cost of doing business, it's an expensive way to do business. And I don't have a problem with their transaction fees, the 35 cents or whatever they kept every time, but now they're keeping all their fees, period, no matter what happens. That's not very user friendly. So that's right. Big job. You do send friends and family. And that's what I'm kind of thinking it's going to have to be is friends and family, because if there's an issue with friends and family on a part and I do find an issue with it, then I think I can then I should be able to refund that normally. So, Robert, PayPal, Facebook, eBay, all payment sites send a 1099 to anyone receiving over $600. They're all, if you receive over $600, they're sending it. They have to report a 1099 on it. So that's right, Scott. You can't fix stupid on some of this stuff. That's for sure. But yeah, PayPal, not too user friendly from what I'm seeing at this point. So we'll see how it shakes out. And that's right, old school. There's no refund on damages or theft on friends and family. And that's the scary part about it if you are sending it. So that's, and that's what's going to make it tough. In my situation, I don't see how I can do it any other way, though, because if there's a problem, it costs me money, so, and believe, and I still got a lot of people that send me checks and money orders and things like that. I have people that still use Western Union, things like that. So it's just not a very user-friendly policy that they've implemented. And that has, and they said they started that over the last year or two, which, it was about the time they lost tens of millions of dollars of revenue every year from eBay since eBay went to managed payments. So kind of funny how that works out. But I got a feeling that had something to do with it. I haven't shut my account off, Kevin, but, and there again, like I said, I just learned this earlier in the week, and if people are willing to do friends and family, then it doesn't affect it because then I could do the refund as well. However, if people don't want to use friends and family, and if people continue to try to pay me normal through it and put me in that bind, then yes, then I may just close the entire account because I'm too busy to, deal with the stuff that's costing me a lot of money. If I have to do a refund, or if somebody calls me and changes their mind and says they only want the part, then I have to pay PayPal for that privilege. So, let's see. David W. PayPal is a lot of people's go-to, and there is some truth to that. But there again, as people learn this, that may change some of that too. Let's see. There again, once again, we've got some of these comments that are coming in that don't make any sense. So double check your comments, make sure they make sense before you push that button. Let's see, Don, I make all my purchases using PayPal. If you hear of other payments, let us know. And like I said, PayPal has been it's been good for years, except this is bad. I mean, because it's like I said, somebody can pay me with PayPal, call me the next day and say, hey, my wife said I can't buy that stuff. I've got to pay PayPal their fees regardless. So yeah, if I hear something, we'll kind of keep talking about that. Or if you guys hear of other stuff, let me know. Eddie, when's the next yard live stream? We did one last Saturday, so I don't know when we'll do the next one. And, I had a beautiful day on Christmas Day. That's why I kind of snuck it in, because these next couple months is pretty sketchy. So I imagine it's going to be a couple months before we do another one. And that's right, Big Job. It's just another way for big tech to squeeze the little guy. Not only do they squeeze the little guy, at that point, I had cleaned my PayPal account out the week before that. So the only payment I had in there was this one payment, and there was about $9 in fees on it. And this is why I call PayPal, and this is how I learned all this. I said, hey, what they did is they went to my checking account and swiped the full amount out of my checking account. And I didn't know it. So I called them, because I check my bank. I log into my bank if not every day, every other day. I log into my bank and go through my checkbook and mark off the checks that cleared. And I've seen this full amount to PayPal. So I called them and said, hey, why'd you swipe this out of my account? They're like, well, you didn't have enough money in there to cover it. So when you refund the fees, I do. And they said, oh, no, we don't refund the fees anymore. So they went to my account, took the full amount out of my checkbook, and I didn't know it. And then, I only got the part. Then, of course, my deposit back to my account didn't cover all of it. It was $9 short because of the fees. So, yeah. So not only are they trying to squeeze it, once they've got access to your accounts, they just do whatever they want. So yeah, it's not a good deal. Does anyone know if there's something similar to the 94 to 02 Camaro SLP companies? Does Ford has Celine, Roush, and Shelby? Yeah. And then they had the SLP Camaros. I don't remember what all the story was there. Yeah, that's right, Kevin. It's not fun. Old school. You don't take credit cards? Nope. I don't take any credit cards, because they're even harder to deal with. Credit card companies are a disaster to deal with. I had to deal with them for years in my retail parts stores. Huge pain. And you have no repercussion on credit card stuff. They charge you to use it. They charge you to be set up with them. They charge you a fee. And then if there's a problem, they take the money back and you're out everything. So yeah, it's not fun. Nate actually started using Apple Pay, and it works great now that it's being accepted more. So Apple Pay might be something to look into. I have heard of that, but like I said, I just learned all this about 4 or 5 days ago, first part of this week. So it's, I still haven't had time to do any of the work, but I wrote that down, Nate. So that's another idea. I might have to call you to get some info on that. Don, the fee thing could be a showstopper for some of us. Yeah. Like I said, it was very eye opening to me after I logged into the bank and found out they'd swiped the whole amount out of my checking account, and I didn't know it. So Bill says that's why he quit buying on eBay. Marn says Google Pay. And like I said, those might be some good options that need to be looked into, because this PayPal thing isn't good. Kevin, why did they send out a warning or notice? I'm sure it was buried in some update at some point, but Jerry on Facebook, not a fan of PayPal either. So Amy, back years ago, we had an FFL and sold firearms on PayPal, and PayPal went anti-gun, and we didn't find out until they froze the account. I bet that was very interesting. When if you had a bunch of money and they found out it was for guns, and then they froze all of it. Old school does I don't sell or buy on eBay. Like I said, I still use it. It's I'm getting enough of a footprint in other places that I hopefully can start transitioning away from it. But at this point, it's still it is still a viable option for what I do. But like I said, eBay has managed payments now, so all my eBay goes through eBay managed payments, and so I don't use PayPal on that as well. So, nope, Andrew, I'm drinking water. I got to drink water to stay hydrated. I got it for as much jabbering as I'm doing throughout this thing. So that's right, Brandon. In God we trust. Everybody else pays cash. and that's real easy if you're all here. But for me, for as much stuff as I ship, that's not always feasible. However, I do have people send me cash in the mail occasionally. So, yep, we're just about ready for badges. As a matter of fact, Kevin, and we're going to do 2 of them tonight. You guys said you want more, so we'll look at more. Old school Craigslist, Marketplace, and other venues are better. Craigslist is good. You get a lot of tire kickers off Craigslist. Marketplace, I don't do anything on any Facebook Marketplaces. What I hate about it is too easy to not find stuff on there. So, let's see. Lots of comments popping up here. Big job. Same thing happened to a buddy on PayPal after a guy bought an old soda machine, came in 100 miles. The guy already had his machine, which he bought parts for, and the guy was a scammer. Daniel, there's a big following for Vegas and Astros. Yeah, those I get a lot of calls for Vega parts. There's no doubt about it. Cody, where am I located? We're located in Great Bend, Kansas, right about smack dab in the middle of Kansas. If you put your finger in the middle of the map, you'd be pretty close to where I'm at. Dan, credit card companies cost businesses money all the way around. They do. They cost a ton of money, and that's why I hate them. When I had retail parts stores, we didn't do tons of credit cards since a lot of the shops had their own accounts that we charged to. But yeah, they were a pain. Old school, you should sell off your own website. I actually don't even have a regular website. It's a ton of maintenance for a website. Plus, you've got to get traffic there. That's why by utilizing Facebook and YouTube, I get I can get out there and get a really good spread. I can post videos on YouTube, the walk around videos of the vehicles as they come in. I can post still pictures on Facebook and put in links to the videos. So that's why I utilize those formats so heavily. So we got badges and magazines tonight. So if we can get our spooky friend here out of the way, who is sitting in the way again, because she has a problem with that. Yeah, see, you're on the computer tonight, Kat. Now you got to get out of the way so we can get to some badges and some magazines. Real quick, one other thing I want to talk about that we have discussed in the past, and we've been talking about it the last couple of weeks, and I want to throw this out there now so that we can start thinking about it. Old school brought up the fact about auctioning some pieces. I want to think about that. We'll talk about it a little later tonight. Do we want to try to do an auction? I think we need to get, we're getting enough people on here where I think we could just about do it. You can't do it with 2 people, but, think about that. And if so, do we want to do cans, badges, toys, license plates, small signs or a certain price range, things like that, that you guys are interested in? If we do something that's a little more valuable, something to put a reserve on it, throwing all those ideas out there, you guys can start thinking about them. I'd like to go back to that a little later in the chat tonight. Daniel, do you ever put up the Gone Fishing sign? Very, very seldom. I'm typically here 7 days a week. So, Daniel, people restore old trucks and actually use them for work. Some people do. Yeah, some people actually do. Brandon, slick black kitty lack. But we've got 2 badges tonight. We're actually going to move forward a few years with the first badge up into the 60s. Since you guys like, since the badge stuff has gotten so popular, you guys are asking for more. We're going to need to diversify it a little bit, get us some newer stuff. We'll definitely got tons of the old stuff to do too. Old school says auctions will be great. Non-paying bidders banned. Yep. If you don't pay, you're not playing, period. So, was for Daniel, the first car Ford produced a Model T. No, they actually built a couple cars prior to the Model T. But the first badge that we're going to check out, and we're going to move forward a few years, there's actually some significance to this piece as well. We're going to move up into the 60s for this one, and I think it's going to be cool. You guys like the badge stuff, so we're going to do that. We're going to throw it around and move some things around. First one we're going to start off with tonight is off of a 1966 Ford Thunderbird. This is the grill ornament off of a 1966 Thunderbird, and this thing is big. It's a statement piece. Daniel, I'm bringing back an 82 F350 after having two Super E's with 7.3s in them. So, but this thing is a pretty good size piece. It's a really nice piece. This thing is 25.5 inches long. Yeah, old school, it is huge. Great condition. I hope you guys can see it in the picture. The plastic inserts look great. The chrome looks great. Now, what's the significance to this piece? Actually, believe it or not, this piece here, and now as a lot of you guys know, I've been doing this my whole life. My dad did it as a part-time hobby. He never did it full-time, but he had about 300 Buicks and Pontiacs, that he specialized in, that I grew up. I cut my teeth on Buicks from the 50s. This particular piece here actually kind of helped broaden my perspective, so to speak, I guess is the best way to put it. Real quick story. So, I don't want to bore you guys to death with this thing. But like I said, I grew up messing with this stuff on the Buicks and Pontiacs and my dad's. Went to college, graduated, went straight to Chrysler and warranty administration. And, and that was right. And I graduated from college in 97 and started with Chrysler in June of 97 is when I went to Chrysler. So the internet was really starting to gain some ground at that point. Big Job had a 64 T-Bird. It was an awesome car, but he flipped it. So, Thomas from Chicago's here. Glad you made it. Glad you subscribed. So, so the internet's really starting to come along. I'm traveling with Chrysler doing warranty administration. Dad still had his cars. He's still selling some parts on the side, but he wasn't pushing it as hard. And the internet came around. So, we started messing with it a little bit. In fact, believe it or not, after I graduated from college, and I traveled every week. I left Monday morning. I didn't come till Friday afternoon. That's right. Middle of the front grill is where this was at on the 66 Thunderbird. Big Job. Thanks for clarifying that. I should have said that. This is right smack in the middle of the front grill. So when I moved back from college, I actually paid for the internet at my mom and dad's house. So I was staying there on the weekends because I was traveling every week. Now, Daniel, I wasn't an engineer at Chrysler. I was in warranty administration. So I was not an engineer. I was just worked in warranty. So Kevin says, I'm anything but boring. It's good stuff. So oh, my buddy Brent just about crashed the chat. He said he was heading in. He forgot about we were going to be on tonight. It's all right. He's been out running the rollback. So I know he's been busy, but glad you got on with us here. So when did the bird move from the hood to the grill? I'm not sure. I think 65, it was still on the hood. So Martin Zines had an 88 and an 89 T-Bird. But anyway, so the internet comes along. I'm staying with my folks on the weekends. So I get internet hooked up at their house so I could use it on the weekends. I had it while I was on the road with Chrysler, although I had, limited access at that point as far as what corporate would let you do. So we started playing with it. I started putting a few things on, some sites for Buick parts, things like that. Started dabbling with it a little bit, kind of getting an idea of what to do with it. Daniel, got a question. When you worked at Chrysler, does Chrysler keep their old blueprints? That I don't know, because like I said, I wasn't in engineering or design. I was in warranty administration, traveling to dealerships. So I spent about, if we had meetings twice, I spent 2 weeks a year in Detroit. You typically only 1 week a year in Detroit. So old school says you should put that badge on an 88 Civic. So I'm starting to play with the internet in the late 90s. We're starting to sell a few things out of Dad's stuff in the late 90s. In fact, when we first started looking at eBay, my dad heard about eBay. Robert says 66 was the first year for the grill-mounted bird. When we first started playing with eBay after my dad heard about it, I remember looking up Buick. I just typed in Buick on eBay, and there were like 2,000 items on there for all of Buick. That's cars, parts, everything that had to do with Buick. There were like 2,000 items. When we started using eBay, they didn't even have picture services on eBay. You had to use a third-party host to host your pictures for eBay. So that's how long it's been since we've been on eBay. However, I'm still working for Chrysler. This is probably 2000, maybe early 01, because I quit at the end of 01. we go to an auction one weekend, and actually there were two auctions that day. So Dad and I both go to the first one. We look at the cars there. Then I take off to go to the second one. And I don't even remember what Dad was there to buy, but there was a 66 Thunderbird sitting there. There was a pretty complete car. The rear bumper was missing. And I told Dad, I said, if that Thunderbird goes cheap, buy it. He's like, what do you want a Ford for? Because at the time, all we were doing was Buick and Pontiac, and that was primarily because of the marketing aspect. You had to buy an ad in Hemmings every month. You had to list everything was print. So we had to, we stuck with Buick and Pontiac because that was what we had the following for. That's what we had the base for. And I said, if it goes cheap, buy it, and I'll try it. And it was pretty cheap, a couple $100, I think. Of course, this was over 20 years ago. And he said, what do you think? I said, buy it, because I said, I bet I can sell those parts on eBay too. He goes, okay, I'll watch it. Well, he gets it bought, and the rest, they say, is history. So this, and I kept this off of that car. One, it was a cool piece, but two, I kept it because it kind of started opening my eyes as to what the entire potential with the internet was in this old car world compared to what I knew growing up, which was limited to print, and having it get it, and having to almost be specialized because of the marketing aspect, because you couldn't afford to buy 100 ads in Hemmings every month. So that's what's symbolic about this. It kind of opened my eyes to what the internet was capable of. And then never in a bajillion years would I have guessed that we would all be sitting here hanging out on a Sunday night, week after week, talking about cars on the internet. So as dumb as it is, and it probably didn't make a lot of sense to you guys, this particular car, this 1966 Thunderbird, was the car that opened my eyes to the potential of what we were already doing, what the scope of it could or could not be possibly with the internet. And now I've got 1,500 cars. So anyway, that's the story behind the 66 Thunderbird grill badge. So let's see. Chris, do you have a Willis St. Clair badge or a Rickenbacker? I don't have a Rickenbacker. I don't remember if I got any Willis St. Clair or not. I got hundreds of them to go through. So Mo's call from Pennsylvania is here. Steve says keep it up. But there's the significance of this exact 1966 Ford Thunderbird grill ornament. And like I said, you guys want more badges, you want more ornaments, we'll start mixing it up. We'll do different eras. We'll do different things. We'll do anything's cool. So, Dan, you have any mid-70s trucks? I've got a few mid-70s Chevy trucks. I don't have a lot of the early square body stuff. I've just got a few. So, so there's the story behind that. Now, you guys want more badges, so we're going to do another badge. Robert said a lot of stuff was real specific, 58 to 66 on birds. The next badge we're going to check out, we're going to back her back up. That's right, David. Imagine the next 30 years. We'll see how long if we make it the next 30 years. We're going to back up to one of our earlier enamel badges like we've been doing. And I think we can have a lot of fun with this since you guys like it so much. Because I've got hundreds of them, and they are fun, and I love them. This one from the Hudson Motor Car Company, Detroit, Michigan. Triangular badge, blue Hudson, white background. Number one says double badges. That's right, double badges. You guys ask for more, we'll do more. I've only got 2 tonight, though. So this Hudson badge, this is about 2.5 on each side. It is an equal triangle. So it is, 2.5 inches, 2.5 inches, 2.5 inches. Hudson Motor Car Company. The blue lettering against the white background. This is an early 20s era badge. As found on my favorite new website, the AmericanAutoEmblem.com. I preached to you guys about that last week. It's a great, great site. Be sure to check it out. There's one problem with that site. There's going to be more badges on there that I don't have that I think I'm going to need to buy. So that's the only problem I see that being an issue. Buchanan Auto Sales, great show. I've got 4 or 5 Gen 1 Hemis is all I've got left. Daniel, think people are going to keep their factory nav radios down the road? It depends on if there's technology that can, if they can keep up with the technology, which I bet they can't. I won't be able to. So, Glenn just says more of everything. Number one says BW and Kim are here watching in the shadows. So Kevin loves it. Hudson's are iconic. Bill says hit the like button. So that's appreciate that. Scott says we need those stinking badges. So we'll keep throwing them in there. You guys are excited about them. We'll keep working them in. But this is a really nice badge. This is one of those that was pressed on the back. It's got the big flat part where they, pressed it to the grill shell. And, it's a cool piece. And like I said, I love these things. These things these are a glimpse back in time. This thing is 100 years old, which is, you think about it, you kind of put it into perspective that this thing has literally been around for 100 years. The word script is blue bordered in silver. That is correct. It is bordered in silver, and it is the same as this line and the lower lettering with the blue, the Hudson in the blue. So, and then the silver all around it, and then the silver around the outside perimeter as well. So cool piece, early 20s era. Like I said, 100 years. What do you think this thing saw 100 years ago when it came out? So it's amazing when we sit back and think that this thing was produced before the Depression, before World War II, all that stuff. And, and here we are 100 years later, admiring it, thinking about the history, literally hanging out on the computer on Sunday night, talking about this stuff. So Martin Designs, do I have any Hudsons? There's some in the yard. Daniel, old cars have a soul. They are a lot of this stuff is art. And that's what's great about what we do. And when we look at this stuff, this is art. Even the Thunderbird badge from the 60s, it's a statement piece. And that's what this was. This, of course, back then, cars were so simple that, they were all the same shape. They were all the same design. I mean, there wasn't much other than this badge to make them stand out. Maybe a few slight body lines or grill lines. So Kevin loves both of them. They're both great. So that's what we've got for badges this week. Hope you guys dug them, and we'll keep working a couple of them in. And obviously, how's it mount? That's what we looked at a little bit ago. I don't know if you caught it. It's pressed. These things, I think they just put them on the grill shell and then they pressed them from the back. Is kind of how it was set up. So they were just pressed onto the back of the grill shell. So let's flip through these last couple of magazines before we give them away real quickly, because we're going to catch the last couple ones here. And, then we will move on to shipping them off to somebody this week. So anyway, the first one we're going to check out, September of 1960 issue of Custom Rodder. These are the ones that are going away with the first name out of the can. Let's keep moving through these and check some of this stuff out. First article we're going to check out, and this is really cool. Like I said, whoever gets these here within the next week or so is going to get to hang out and check all these out in person and in detail. So first article, Super Swap. What's the best route for top performance? That's the big question. You soup up what you've got, or do you swap in a different engine? There again, it's a whole different animal as far as what we consider today. You've got to get... today you can't just grab a different engine and swap it in because nothing else will work. You got to have the electronics, the computers, things like that. Back in the day, you just had to get if you had a 6, you needed a V8. That's what you had to do. That's what's cool about this. And this is a several page article, but, and you can't really tell from the picture, but it says this picture right here. So it's a big Chrysler that they added 4 carbs to. Obviously swapping a small block Chevy into a coupe here. So but and this is a really in-depth article. Here we got a super cool picture of a Buick nailhead. And that's another cool thing that we don't think about a lot today. Obviously swapping a small block Chevy, commonplace. And even, the Gen 1 Hemis, yeah. But the nailhead Buicks were kind of a different animal that, made decent power for their days, considering. But then of course you had the Dynaflow transmission to deal with, because this was in 1960, and you couldn't get a turbo hydromatic behind a nailhead until 64. So that's something else that had to be taken into consideration. Here's a cool picture of a hopped up flathead. So a lot of neat stuff in here. Another cool article that was another customization tip: 21 new blinkers. What's cool about this, tons of cool pictures of different custom type lights for your different vehicle. Actually, this car we saw a couple weeks ago in one of the other magazines on Daryl Starbird's Predicta of 59 Cadillac taillights added to the, filled the whole back of the car with them. And then multiple other pictures of super cool custom lighting concepts that people were doing back in the day. We'll flip forward a few more pages here to, almost what is an iconic, probably one of the most iconic hot rods out there. Definitely, even back in 1960, this was an iconic hot rod. The 1940 Ford Coupe, this one was called the Frisky 40. And just a really clean looking 40 Ford Coupe, flathead power, dual carbs. So pretty cool. There again, almost your quintessential hot rod. And, cool today, cool in 1960. The next car we're going to check out is the cover car. We actually didn't take a good look at that. We kind of skipped over it. So the cover car on the front, because there again, it's the only thing that's in color on these things is the cover. The cover car. We'll take a look at the burgundy paint on that with the highlights. And inside, we'll take a little better look at it. It's a pretty good looking coupe. I think it's a 40 Chevy coupe, 56 Chevy small block, 54 Buick grill, 58 Ford taillights, and pretty radical custom for the day. Non-chopped top, but the front end, by squeezing that Buick grill in there, took a lot of modifications. So that's right. Number one, big Buick grill, and then it did mention that in the article as well. So old school found a 52 Crosley dashboard radio last week at a thrift store. Looks like a dashboard of a car back then. Yeah, that's for sure. Daniel, you gotta check your autocorrect on some of this. It's just not making sense on some of these comments, Daniel. 69 ZR1. Yeah, there's only a handful of those cars ever made. So, yeah, and those were very interesting cars as well. Let's see. This is something else that was really pretty interesting. Like I said, we're skipping through these quickly. I'm going to save a lot of the surprises for the winter. This was, like I said, a September of 1960 magazine. Dan swapped a lot of engines in his day. Many pinched fingers, yeah. They literally have an article in here, how to restyle the 60 Plymouth. So literally customizing tips for brand new cars. Now, we think of today somebody customizing a 60 Plymouth, that's not completely out of the ballpark. But think about going and buying a new car off the lot. Go buy a new Equinox and say you're going to customize it. Unheard of. But that's, there again, different times, different things. But how to customize the literally brand new 60 Plymouth. And one other thing we're going to catch is new products before we get into the ads in this issue. Something kind of cool in the new products was we talk a lot, we've heard about it a lot, we catch them, they always have ads in these from Almquist Engineering. So Almquist Engineering actually had a fiberglass body, bolt-on body designed by Almquist Engineering, said to seat 3 to 5 adults requiring no chassis or frame alteration. alterations for installation. Fits any 110 to 118 inch wheelbase, such as a 49 to 58 Ford or Chevy. So it's you can order a whole custom body from the Almquist Engineering Company for your chassis. So Bill, do I have any 58 Biscayne complete two doors? No, I don't. I've got some pieces off some that I've stripped out, but so some two-door post parts, but no cars at all. So let's check out a few ads in this one. Like I said, we're scrolling through these pretty quick, but we want to catch them all before we give them away. So inside the cover of this thing, and this is 1960, earned over $2,000 in 10 weeks. Investigate accidents. We train you, then we assist you to step in to an excellent position to develop your own lifetime business as an accident investigator. So I thought that was pretty interesting. David Dale, you wonder if those fiberglass bodies exist. I wonder if they ever even made any. Some of that stuff made it to the magazines, but some of it never even got built. So, but that would be, kind of interesting to see if anybody has, has any of those around, or, sometimes that stuff pops up and it's, and everybody's like, what the heck is it? What the heck is it? Well, that's what some of it is it come from deals like that. So anyway, you can learn to become your own accident investigator. Something else kind of cool we're going to check out with some customizing tips. Custom-made taillight lenses by the craftsmen of Lee Plastics for the customizers. We've seen some ads from Lee Plastics before in some of these, but never gone quite to this extent. They usually had like a small edge ad. They've got a full-page ad in here showing off various different lenses that they had available to fit in factory housings, but they were companies. So, Brian, how does one find purchase prices for your vehicles? Just call me. That's why my number's on there. Give me a shout. If you miss me, leave me a quick message and I'll call you back. But yeah, because literally every single person that calls me needs something different. They're looking for something different. The only way to do that is just give me a shout. So that we can get that information, or I can get all the information from you to know exactly what you're looking for and things like that. So, because you may see one thing in a picture and I may have two more too. So, they are replacement lenses. They appear to be replacement lenses for stock housings with custom styling is what they seem to be. So, nope, Kevin, no color photos in these other than the cover. That's about it. The next ad we're going to check out, Martin would love to visit and check things out. David, when did J.C. Whitney start? Yeah, they're in this magazine. I skipped over it in this one because we're going to catch it in the next issue. So that's right, old school, no color, money saved. This next ad, not a car ad, but it was so cool that I had to, we had to check it out. And I'm not sure what this thing is made out of. Well, here it is. Sturdy built of aluminum laminated and wood grain. Wow. This is kind of interesting. Kenny, the old mags are super cool. Daniel says car movies. Yeah, that's not a bad idea too. We have talked about some car movies in the past. But yeah, that's another good idea. The personalized home bar. The personalized home bar. You can order your own personalized home bar for $5.98. This thing was pretty amazing. Personally initialed, it's portable for parties, gatherings, or your basement. Your personalized bar. So I thought, okay, for $5.98. Now, granted, I know we're talking $1960, but how are you getting an entire bar for $5.98? So, and it's big, 39 inches wide, or 38 inches high, and 13 inches deep. Now I thought, how good can this thing be for $5.98 even in 1960? It is sturdily built of aluminum laminated and wood grain finished multi-flute fiberboard. So it's like, I don't know what all that means unless it all breaks down to maybe it's cardboard or something. I don't know. But in 1960, for $5.98, you could get your own personalized home bar. Bill, what am I asking for the 57 Napco Complete? There again, give me a shout, because there's like that bed doesn't go with that truck. Do you need that bed? Do you not want that bed? All those different things that, I need to know exactly what you need, because I mean, obviously that affects the price. So that's why I just tell everybody to, give me a shout so we can talk about those details, because there again, every single vehicle is different. Jason says I'm hitting the bar right now. So couple more in here we're going to catch real quick, and then we're going to move to the next one. This next one also not a car ad, but such a sign of the times that we had to check it out. So, Old School says in 1968 the first plastic water bottle came to market. Yeah, this one is for a record album, actually. The Lushest in Mood Music, a new kind of stereo record. Music for swanky lovers, only $1.79. So Jason says we're all driving him to drink. So, well, as soon as we get done, I'm going to go right over that fridge right over there, and I'll probably get me a beer out of it. So that, there again, signs of the times, which is why we do this. Part of this stuff goes, it's primarily car stuff, but some of the stuff that, they run ads in here that is just defines the window in time that we're looking at. That's why I love sharing some of this other stuff with you guys as well, too. And one more, the back cover are standard for the area. Motors manuals. Obviously, I got some right here behind me. Definitely a staple prior to, the internet. You had to have a motors manual for all this stuff. So the next one we're going to check out, the October of 1960 of issue Custom Rodder with the Dusty Pearl on the cover. Once again, the only color we've got is on the cover. Believe it or not, you look at this picture, and I didn't know what this thing was till I went and checked out the article. This was a 1957 Chevy to start with, believe it or not. So we'll get a few more pictures of it when we get inside here. And get a little better look at the Dusty Pearl. And it says, believe it or not, this was a 57 Chevy two-door sedan. Extremely highly customized 57 Chevy, especially considering this is 1960. So it's that's a ton of work on a car that was essentially new at that point. That's right, Daniel. One Piece at a Time by Johnny Cash. Old School, how to find parts. If you're talking about parts that I've got for sale, Brian, I do eBay, but I've got 1,500 cars on the ground. So Nate says he would have guessed it was a Lincoln. Yeah, it's a pretty wild deal. So it was a Chevy, believe it or not. It didn't start as a Merc. So, but a very, very radical custom for its day for sure. A tech article. This was another thing that was kind of interesting. These tech articles, there again, tech articles from 60 years ago, a little bit different than what we're used to. Diecast in the background. I guess unless you're talking about those are promos, factory promo models. 25th anniversary Trans Am and a 92 Z28. So. But lowdown on lowering. There again, tech tips from 60 years ago. So, and this one actually gave some pretty high-tech drawings and descriptions on different ideas on how to do it. So, today you just order the drop spindle kit and lower the front end. But back in the day, it wasn't quite that simple. So they had tech tips on how to do some of this stuff. Something else I found very interesting in this one that I thought was pretty cool. They had a custom car glossary. And they actually talked about it. Lowered, Z'd, channeled, chopped, sectioned, Frenched, tunneled, recessed, extended, and they gave the customizing term, the part affected, and the end result. I'll hold that up there for a second so you guys you guys can check it out and kind of get an idea. But it was just so cool that there again, a lot of us have been doing this for a long time. A lot of us it's been part of our lives for years. And this is all second nature to us. In 1960, a lot of this stuff was new terms. And that's why it stood out to me. I was like, that's actually pretty cool. That's kind of different. But there again, we've got to take ourselves back. We've got to put ourselves in that window in time and think about that, chopped and channeled were really fairly new terms that, from that era. Maybe they've been around for 10 years, 15 years. Maybe they weren't mainstream terms like we're familiar with. So they had a glossary here for you to help follow along. I thought that was so great. So anyway, let's flip up here to the Sportsman. Let's catch the Sportsman as well. Like I said, tons of cool cars in here. I'm only showing you a few of them as we get rolling through here. But what really stood out about this was there again, just like the 57 Chevy that we saw here a little bit ago, this thing was a 55 Chevy. Not hardly, controllable. I mean, not even hardly recognizable as a 55 Chevy. But it was. That's what it's, obviously everything's changed on the front. The whole body lines are different. So that's what, that's what it comes down to when it gets this radical. There again, this car's 5 years old. And they, but I identified it that when I saw the vent window, but then had to double check it to confirm. But that's what it took to see the 55 Chevy in that. So BW's Garage, really enjoyed the 61 Big Ten Apache video. I'm glad you liked it. So, what else do we got? Let me see what we got coming up here. Okay. Brandon says that truck's perfect as is. So, Cadillac Mill. This was another cool article. Back to the engine swaps we were talking about a little bit. Swap a big CAD mill. The more inches you can trade for, the more power you'll have when the job's done. Back to the engine swaps with going with a Cadillac V8. Obviously, bigger. There again, you didn't have a lot of options. This is in 1960, so Cadillacs were up to like 365s, things like that. But they weren't big, huge engines at that point yet. So, mid 300 cubic inch, Chevrolet was, at that point was still a 283. The 327 didn't come out even until 62. So there again, go as big as you can. And that typically meant like a Cadillac, because Cadillac was a big, heavy car. It had to have a bigger, more powerful engine than a lot of the regular cars did. So if you get your hands on a Cadillac, that was the way to go. So that was the only articles I had to pull out of this one. Let's catch a few ads, and then we're going to catch the last magazine that we're going to give away to the second name out of the can this week. Like I told you, we were going to catch J.C. Whitney in this one. Cool stuff in this one. Club jackets. We've seen the club plaques you could order. You could order your own club jackets. You order the big turnkey to put on the back of your car, which you've seen before. Flippers for your caps. All kinds of cool accessories. So, Bill, I've been to the Starbird Museum in Wichita. I didn't even realize there was a Starbird Museum in Wichita. So I'm not sure. Don't know much about that. So, let's see. Number one, Fire Chief. Fire Chief was Texaco. Obviously, the Texaco star on it. Fire Chief was one of their brands. Sky Chief, Fire Chief. That's just kind of what they went with, that type of thing. So I don't know if the Sky Chief or the Fire Chief or which one was the high test or anything. That's just, I think they kind of went with the Fire Chief as, is good enough to use in a fire truck and make power to get to a fire. So I think that's kind of the direction they were going. That's actually a porcelain pump plate off the front of a gas pump. But no, number one, we had not covered that. You're the first one to bring it up. I just kind of spaced it off. So thanks for bringing that up. So Um, let's see. Daniel, is the Chevy Apache a high option truck? I think everything was an Apache in '61. I think all the pickups were Apaches in that era. David W. They're putting Cadillacs and Studebakers, calling them Studilacs. Let's see. I think there's a lot of Kevin's. There's a lot of North Stars that had head gasket leaks, so that's for sure. That's right, old school, and that's the APCO booklet's on the way to you. So you're out for trivia this week. Nate had a '59 Chevy pickup that had a 429 caddy swapped in it. That was definitely different. So, but another great article in here. Speaking of Starbird, full page ad for the 1960 American Championship Rod and Custom Show. Darryl Starbird presents the 1960 American Rod and Custom Show. Plus, they also had the the national champion or the American Championship drags September 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th with the American Hot Rod Association in Kansas City. Darryl Starbird sponsored show. And that's and something else I keep forgetting to bring up as we're going through these magazines. Darryl Starbird actually wrote some of these articles and covered some of these cars, just like the Dusty Pearl by Darryl Starbird, photos and by the author. Gene Winfield did a lot of these car articles in several of these. Gene's a super great guy. I've met him several times at different car shows. He doesn't know me from Adam, but he's always been very friendly, super great guy. So I thought that was so cool. Obviously Darryl Starbird, Gene Winfield were both involved with Custom Rodder in that window, and big full page ad for the 1960 American Championship car rod and custom show, as well as the American Championship drag races. So number one says soup. We used to mix all our liquor bottles and some Coke in a 2-liter bottle and called it soup. Well, that'd be some pretty tough soup. So Shopcat just put his supper in the microwave because he's working late tonight. But glad you're hanging out with us as well. Couple more ads we're going to catch in this one real quick. David W. says that's where Souped Up came from. That could have been. Couple cool ads on here. One of them a J.C. Whitney ad as well, but it has a lot of great illustrations with us. As all of the custom grills that were available, stainless steel custom tubular type custom grills from the J.C. Whitney company that were available. And it's cool seeing the basically artist renderings of the custom grills that they had available, as well as the National Auto Review show in Hartford, Connecticut. There again, we didn't have the internet. They put ads in magazines and had to hope people saw them and showed up. Bill says, yeah, I don't know anything about the Starbird Museum in Wichita. They have a big show there every year. But I don't know anything about the museum. But no, they do have a Starbird Devlin custom car show there every year that Tim Devlin helps sponsor too. And that's actually coming up. Actually, come to think about it, so Rusty Nails, that would have sent a pic of something. Yeah, I text most pictures. I don't text anything as far as getting into communications on texts, because you got to remember I talk to sometimes 50, 60 people a day, and if I had to do all that on text, I would do nothing but type. I can send pictures on text, but that's all I will do. Texting is not clear. It's not easy to follow. People, autocorrect screws it up. So I can text pictures, not a problem. I do a lot of them every week. So how far am I from Tennessee? Depends on what part of Tennessee you are, because I'm right about in the middle, and I know like Memphis on the west edge is, a whole different animal from the east edge of Tennessee. So let's see. What else do we have? One other thing I wanted to show you in here. And there again, lots of shows in here. This one was a really cool ad because they kind of did it backwards, where they had a heavy background on this show. The reason I wanted to show you this is they put a heavy background to make this thing stand out, because look at the ads we're seeing. You didn't have the internet. You couldn't send the ad to people on Facebook that like cars. You had to put them in here. You had to stand out. People had to notice it to know about your show. Nashville. It's been 5 or 6 years since I drove to Nashville. I think it's about 12 hours. Last time I was in Nashville was when we went down for the American Pickers shoot, but they production flew us down for that, so I didn't drive at that time. So, number one says, next time, every time Chad answers the questions, that everybody drinks. That could be interesting. What if I get the wrong answer, though? That's always a possibility as well. Joe says 61 was the last year for Apache. Now, I think that's right, because I don't remember seeing it on any 62s. Let's see. Oh, Rusty Nail says he's got something. He's not sure what it is, but he thought I might. Yeah. If you call me first so I know what's coming through, if you send me a random picture, I'll be lost. So if you call me and let me know, then, yeah, I might be able to help you that. Let's see. Shopcat, there'd be a bunch of drunkards in the chat. There's a good possibility of that. So, let's see. Okay, I'm missing some of this stuff. We're rolling pretty quick. Every time we show the Hudson badge, then everybody drinks. Everybody want to see the Hudson badge again? Yeah, so everybody can drink. If everybody's waiting on the Hudson badge or taking another drink, there you go. There, we'll pop it up there. So, but anyway, that catches it for that issue of Custom Rod. We're gonna get ready to give those away here in a little bit. Number one, 73 to 77 Colonnade A-body rear bumpers are worth gold. Yeah, and I don't have most of mine here are even rusted out. So anything up north has got to be gone. Roddy says the wrong answer is 2 drinks. And I know I've missed some of you guys as things have been scrolling through here pretty quick, but I apologize. I'm trying to catch anything that looks too important. So, real quick, we're going to flip through this one, and this is what the second name out of the can is going to get. They're going to get one magazine. Number one, Old Milwaukee and Nobody's. We need a beer sign behind for the drinking game tonight. I've got a few beer signs. I can hang a beer sign up here one of these nights too. So, yeah, that's right. Jason says, if I think autocorrect's causing problems, wait till you guys all get liquored up and start commenting. That's actually another good point. So, how much for the badge? Money talks. I don't know if I've got duplicates on that one or not. I do have some badges I have duplicates of that I was thinking about starting to work into some of the auction stuff. So, something to think about there as well. This is the January 62 issue of Speed and Custom that the second name out of the can is going to get. And we're just going to catch a few things in here to get an idea of what they're going to get. Now, obviously, pretty wild Corvette on the front cover. Once again, that's about all. That's the extent of the color in this thing. But, there's got a few more pictures of the inside. Not extremely wild other than those rear fins, with Chrysler taillights in it. That took a ton of work. I don't know why you'd want to do it. It doesn't really appeal to me. It's definitely different, and it definitely stands out. But it is not, it's not my taste. And I'm not even sure on the year because it's got a cove in it. So it's, got to be 56 to 60 or 56 to 62. But so it can't be 53 to 55, but it didn't even actually say what year the car is. So I'm not sure what year it exactly is, but it's got to be the 56 to 62 because of the cove, because the 53 to 55 didn't have the cove. So Kevin's here. Glad you made it. But pretty wild for a Corvette. Other than that, kind of just pretty much looks shaved and things like that, other than the super wild taillights in it. Something else that was pretty wild was Maury's Masterpiece. There again, this issue's from 1962, but something I've never seen. 59 Impala, 2-door hardtop. Number one says the Corvette taillights look feminine. 59 Impala two-door hardtop with 58 to 60 Thunderbird taillights and 55 Pontiac bumpers. There again, something I don't recall ever really seeing much of in the past. So, Bill, these V8 emblems for a 57 Chevy half ton, I don't have anything there. So, obviously 59 Impalas in today's world, crazy hot. Of course, 55 Chevy convertible over here with some mild modifications. But that was a pretty wild rear for a 59 Chevy to me. Tommy's here for the first time. Glad you made it. A few more pictures of the 59 Impala. The rest of the car, not really too wild. 348. Interior looks pretty much all stock. But number one wants to see the vet taillights again. Okay, we'll check them out here in just a second. Bill says he thinks the drunks are already here because of those lights. Yeah. But just the 58 to 60 Thunderbird taillights, the 55 Pontiac rear bumpers on that 59 Impala look pretty wild. Yeah, there's the cover shot with the color photo of those 59 or those taillights in that Corvette. Like I said, not my cup of tea. Not really sure where they were going with that, but it was different. And that's right, Roddy. Back then they were used cars, so that customizing them wasn't any big deal. That's for sure. Couple more things we were going to look at in here real quick. This was kind of interesting. This one I had to study a little bit on, and because I wasn't really sure what they meant. This was for the mana-free fuel induction system, not fuel injection, fuel induction. And I couldn't figure out what the difference was or what they were trying to do. Number one says he sees anatomy in that taillight. I don't know if I do or not. It's too wild for me to really process, actually. But this fuel, the mana-free fuel induction system, and I was like, well, obviously there's not saying fuel injection. And then when you go to the next page where it breaks it all down, Jason said he kind of likes it. It's a carburetor and intakes. So, well, that's kind of what fuel induction is. But where they were going with this after I studied it was 4 carburetors that were, distributing to those particular ports, 1 carburetor for 2 ports. Supposed to be more scientific, more exact, more efficient, more powerful. So that's where they were going with a mana-free fuel induction system in 1962. So it took me a second to kind of figure out what was so great about it or what was so different. But I guess that's where they were. But there again, there was not a lot of technology. They couldn't design this stuff on computers. They basically trial and error, try something different, try something a little more precise, see what we can do with it. One other one that I want to show you, last car we're going to look at in this magazine, and then we're going to do some trivia, then we're going to give these things away. But the dual charged chopper, and there's actually an article on this car, and then there's an article about what they're going to do with it, or about how they did it. And it took me a minute because I'm so used to seeing twin turbos in today's world that this says dual charged chopper, and you can look right here, and it looks literally like a set of twins, like a set of twin turbos that we're used to today. We see it right here. But these were twin superchargers. So I thought that was pretty wild. Tommy Mallory, no ignitions, but author of Corvette Stories from the Backbone of America. Sounds interesting, Tommy. We'll have to check that one out. Shopcat. So you have 4 vaguely calibrated vacuum leaks instead of only 1. I think that's probably about the most scientific way to put it, Shopcat. That's about what it amounts to. They were trying to refine they were trying to refine the leaks instead of just throw them out there and let them run. But here's where they get back to you can build a double blown bomb is what they call it. Number 1 says twin superchargers rule. So Totally VW says, welcome to my world. One barrel per cylinder. Let's see. But here's where it gets into a little bit more detail on this thing. A little bit better pictures, plus some close-ups on the build. So we'll kind of flip over here. And there again, we're looking at tiny black and white pictures. So it's tough to see. But, here we kind of can see the supercharger and some of the plumbing and how they did some of this. But these little tiny black and white pictures that are a couple inches square, kind of tough to, really see what happened. But, and everybody's pretty excited about this. A lot of support for this one. So, but it's different. It is definitely different. Like I said, when I first glanced at the picture, I'm thinking twin turbos because in today's world, that's pretty commonplace. But, seeing two superchargers hanging off the side of an engine in an old coupe is definitely a different deal. One more set of pictures, but not extremely cleared on exactly what, how a lot of this was done. But there again, we're talking 1962 technology. So they're working with what they've got. It's, they're again, different for the times and, but a neat deal. It really was kind of different. So whoever's name comes out second is going to get that. Time for some trivia. Who's ready for trivia? Jason said he's not buying it. So, like I said, who knows if it worked? I doubt it worked very well because we never saw any. I don't remember seeing a lot more of them from that era. So apparently it wasn't the end-all be-all to performance in the early 60s because I don't ever recall seeing that type of a setup on anything ever before that I've ever seen done. So, but tonight, time for the trivia question. We're going to give away another one of these gold Phillips 66 cans from our friend Mike Shook at Auto Artistry. It's been a little while since we gave one of these away. I know some of you guys have won these. There was about 10 of these in the box of cans that Mike gave us to give away. Got one of his cards on the bottom of there, Auto Artistry. Be sure to check him out at autoartistry.com or Auto Artistry on Facebook. He built a car for my dad. He put our cab over together. So does some cool stuff there. Be sure to check him out. This is a composite can, a cardboard can, brand new. I will drain it. It even still has oil in it. I'll drain it. One dent over here in the side, but very nice condition. Top still all original. Great color, good can. So, well, as always, I'll keep an eye on both formats as we get to the question to see who's going to be the winner. BW says he's thirsty. Show the Hudson badge. Hudson badge. Keep popping that up for you guys, I guess. So, but as far as trivia tonight, anybody catch the video on the old Ford winch truck I've been working on, trying to get that thing up and going? Had a video I put up on it Monday night. I've been working on it, got it fired up finally, but still got some tune-up work to do and things like that. But what did I have to bypass to get that thing to run? There's something I had to bypass to go around to get that thing to run. What was? I'm keeping an eye on both formats. I'll put the badge down now till we'll show it in a little bit. So keep an eye on both formats for the Phillips 66 can as we get ready to give away the magazines. Old School got it, and you're out. Because you were the one from because you won last week. I guess you're going to play anyway. So, but you were actually the first one. You were paying attention. You were the right one. And then, of course, it comes in a whole bunch more of them come in right after that. So that's that's all right, Old School. Except then, of course, right after that, then I had 4 more people say fuel pump. So I'm not, I don't know what to do. I don't know what's the fair way to do it now at this point. Well, What's your guys' opinion? I don't know, because I had right after that, Rusty Nails said fuel pump, Lee Carson electric fuel pump, Steel Pony said electric fuel pump. So, new question. BW says new question. Let him ask it. Does anybody want to let BW ask the question? So, let's see. What do we think? Nope, number one, the answer is not the Notre Dame football coach. But Bill says twin Paxton, just like on a 57 Ford. Yep, that's what they use, that type of setup. So that's no problem. Old school, not a big deal. We just got to figure out who to give it away, who we should give it to, or how we want to do it. So, BW says, what makes the 61 Apache unique? Does anybody want to answer that? I guess we can go with that. So that, I guess we can see if anybody remembers that. What was unique about the 61? And I think I know where he's going with that. So we can see if anybody wants to do that. Rusty Nail said we could skip him. Let's see. And I thought about that, but then all those came in within 1 or 2 seconds of each other. So, what was the unique part about the 61? Rusty Nail said he's got one. That still only narrows it down to Lee and Steel Ponies. So, and apparently nobody remembers what I mentioned as being unique about the 61 that BW threw out there as well. So, write a number down. Who gets it closest wins. Okay. So, I guess we'll do that because nobody remembers the answer to BW's question. And Steel Ponies and Lee both got it essentially at the same time. And Rusty Nail says he's already got that can. So, now, and even the question, the answer's coming in on the 61 are wrong. We're going to do that 1 to 10, and a number between 1 and 10 for Steel Ponies and Lee. Okay, give me a second for a number between 1 and 10 between Steel Ponies and Lee. So I'm going to write down a number. Okay, Steel Ponies and Lee guess a number, and I said 1 and 10 Steel Ponies and Lee because those are the two we're hung up with. So, Steel Pony says 5, and what's Lee gonna throw up there for a number? And Lee said 5. They both put the same number. Are you guys like on the same wavelength or something, or So this is just Steel Ponies and Lee because they both had it right at the same time. Between 1 and 10, Steel Ponies and Lee. Lee Carr, Steel Ponies, and they both guessed one time. They both picked the same number. So I'm going to write down a new number, and now you guys do it again. So Steel Ponies and Lee, and then we're going to give these magazines away. It is. It's the longest trivia ever. Okay, Steel Ponies has got his number in. What's Lee Carr going to come up with for a number? Okay, we got Steel Ponies at 4, Lee at 8, and the number was 3. So, Steel Ponies, finally. Steel Ponies, you want to give me a call after we get tomorrow morning? I will get your info and get this can shipped off to you. Holy cow. Thanks for playing, everybody. Appreciate it, Lee. Appreciate everybody being a good sport and playing along. And also, Rusty Nails, appreciate you said, since you've got one, you weren't too worried about it. So, and letting those two guys go. So finally, And that's right, BW. I thought that's exactly where you were going with. The 61 had the aluminum grill insert. 60 had metal bars. 61 had the aluminum insert. So I knew where you went with that, and I was waiting, and we got some guesses, but not the right ones. So old school says that was actually pretty fun. It was kind of fun. So at least we made it work. We got a winner, Steel Ponies. I don't know if you've won before, Steel Ponies. So that's I don't remember you winning or not. So that's great as well. That that you're a winner now, and we can get this off to get that on the way to you. BW is probably waiting for that, so we'll pop that up real quick too. So, but anyway, let's give these magazines away. First name out of the can is going to get this set of 8 various issues of Custom Rodder from the early 60s. These are all 1960 to 1962 era issues of Custom Rodder, plus the bonus issue of the Hot Rod Magazine Engine Swapping Guide. So these are all going to the first name out of the can. The second name out of the can is going to get a copy of Speed and Custom from 1962. BW on Marketplace, there's one that's as rotten in the same place as mine. They want $12,000 for it. I'd definitely take $12,000 for mine. I'd probably take quite a bit less for mine than $12,000. But now the raffle this month, we didn't have very good luck with it. In fact, there was only 3 people in as of last night when I got all this ready. I actually didn't plan a raffle for January. So that's something we need to talk about after we get done. But as of last night, I only had 3. Jason got in late today. I mean, real late. I mean, I almost didn't even check it that late, but we got him in. So I think we got it all covered. But this month we only had Ron Big Job, Lee Carr, Brian Schultz, and then Jason Withrow. And that's it. That's all we had in here this month. So, like I said, as of last night, there were only 3 in. So I did not plan a raffle for January. I want to know what you guys think. Do we want to do another one? Do we want to go ahead and kick one off next week? Do we want to transition to doing a couple of auction pieces? I'm looking for your guys' opinion since we only had 4 people get in this month. Now, and like I've always told you, as long as these things support themselves, I'm cool with it. But not only do I have to buy whatever we're giving away, I also have to package it and I have to pay shipping on it. So all those expenses have to go into this. Jason got in today, so that helped cover everything. But as of last night, that wasn't even covered. I think we'll cover it all now, depending on what shipping is. But that's what's got to be balanced and weighed out. So that's right, Jason. We got you. It was close, but we did get you in. So, but that's what. So there again, I'm asking for your guys' opinion. We can talk about that a little more after we get done. But anyway, let's give these things away. Starting off with the entire stack, 8 issues of Custom Rodder that we've been looking at over the last month, plus the Hot Rod Engine Swapping Guide. Those 4 guys' names are in here right now. They're all stacked around there in the bottom. Let's shake them up a bit. Turn the can around. Make sure they don't fall out, which they were trying to do. And let's give them away. Roger's here. Glad you made it tonight. Big Job says, win or lose, I hope it supports the show. Well, and that's the thing. They've got to support itself first, and that's what we're getting kind of close on, is making sure it supports itself. Especially when you factor in the packaging and the shipping and everything as well. So I do appreciate the support, but if the interest isn't going to be there to continue the raffle, maybe we switch to a few auction pieces. So. But I do thanks, and Jason says the same thing, and I do appreciate that. But anyway, let's see who's going to be the winner. They're all in there. They're all good and shook up. Let's grab a name. Okay, I think I got one. I think I got just one. I have just one. I got just one. I've got just one. Let's see who it is. Lee Carr's our big winner. So hey, I guess that worked out good. Lee, you kind of you got us some slack working with us on trivia, but you won raffle tonight. So we'll get those out to you. Now let's give away the issue of Speed and Custom Rodder. This is just a single with the interesting Corvette taillights on the cover, I guess. So let's see who's going to get those. Lee is not in anymore. If I pull Lee's name again, he's out, and it's going to go to one of these other three guys. So Brian Schultz is going to get the single issue. So Jason and Big Job were the two that didn't get lucky this week or this month, but those are the two guys we've got on for winners tonight. So thanks for playing, everybody that did get in. I will double check to see if I've got addresses on these. Lee, I've got yours, and I do have it on Brian as well. So I've got addresses on both of your guys' sheets. So I do appreciate that, so I can get these packaged up and on the way to you guys. So now, obviously, back to my other question. Number one, signing off. Thanks for being here tonight, number one. And I get these slips stuck in there. So what do we think about the future of the raffle? And I mean, maybe nobody was in on the magazines, or what the deal was. I don't know. But because obviously, like I said, this week got pretty thin as this month got pretty thin whether it was even going to cover itself. Do we want to try to do a few auctions? Do we want to do something different like that? What are your guys' thoughts? But on what we want to do there, or do we want to try another raffle? We can work something up for next week. Give me your guys' ideas or what you think. Here you go, BW. We'll throw that up again. To see what your guys' thoughts are. We can try to do a few auctions, maybe grab a badge and an oil can and start with some of that. Obviously, we know we want more badges and emblems to look at. So Old School says let's try some auctions on oil can and toys. Okay, that's a possibility. I do have a lot of extra badges as well. Some badges I bought duplicates of that I was going to get rid of. We can do some of that stuff as well. And if we start off with, some smaller stuff like that and kind of get a feel for it and see what, what we like, we could try that. Big John says, keep it as long as it makes money and pays off. And like I said, it's never really made a ton of money. It's always supported itself, but this month I was starting to get a little nervous as to whether it was even going to support itself. So that's kind of why I want, your guys' opinions and thoughts and ideas on what you think it may or may not be, worth doing. Or like I said, I don't have a problem trying to do a few auctions, kind of in that slot as well, or do, an auction earlier in the episode and then do an auction later in the episode. We can try that too. Run with what works best for you. I don't know what's going to work best for me. So that's why I like your ideas. Kenny says he likes the magazines, likes the raffle, had trouble finding info to send funds. And that's why I put all that info in the text part. So that way you can go back and click on the video after the fact. And in the text part, all that info is there. So Rusty Nail says some Dodge truck badges from the 50s. Lee says he's still up for the raffle. Nate says, how will the auction work? I think we would just bid on it on live chat, just as we're going. And then, after, everybody can throw their bids out there. And after the bids kind of slow down, we can put it on like a 60-second timer if anybody wants to get in at the last minute. I would say we'd pick out a piece, talk about it, show it, and then open the bidding and see what everybody throws out there. And then as soon as the bidding slows down, then we just put 60 seconds on my phone and see what happens. Number one says badges, and number one wants dirty magazines. So, and he said the raffle's awesome, but since it is December, other people have lots of places to spend money too, and that could be part of it. That could be a good point. Number one as well. Old school, I don't think there's enough viewers to have auctions, and that's kind of what And when you brought that up several weeks ago, I thought the exact same thing. We've been getting about 50 or 60 on here. So that's the only reason I've even brought it back up, is our viewers are kind of ticking up. But I agree with you. I think we might be a little thin on viewers. So that's why I'm wondering if we should try it a little bit or not. Kenny says not a bad idea. Kevin says let's try it. Buchanan Auto Sales says he needs a 31 Model A builder for a raffle. Number one says more cats. Oh, we don't need more cats. They get up here and start walking around on the keyboard, screwing everything up. So still wants me to get Dad on. So we'll kind of toss it around. But there again, should we try or maybe we try a smaller raffle? Maybe I just get something smaller for the raffle and try it. And maybe we'll throw up a small raffle next week and see what happens with that. But, and that's kind of, Buchanan also says to run the raffle. Just run the raffle to sell a minimum amount of tickets. Bill's got to jump off. Well, I'm glad you were, Bill. And you're right, old school. It is my channel. But on the other hand, if I come out here and say, this is what we're going to do, and you guys don't like it and nobody plays along, then we didn't accomplish anything. So, and that's another good point, Roddy. We had 4 for the raffle, but there's 49 viewers on right now. So, that's something else to think about. Lance says the same thing once the holidays over. Things could pick up. So, and that's all, that's also something to think about. She's actually still up there sleeping, Rusty Nails. She was up there sleeping when somebody asked earlier. She's still up there sleeping. So, so we'll see what happens. The NAPCO did not have V8 badges on it. No, Bill, it did not. Joe says, what was the trivia? The trivia was kind of a mess, actually. The trivia was, did I have to bypass on the winch truck I was working on? And then old school forgot he won last week and answered it. And then 3 other people answered at the same time. And so then we had to guess numbers. We got through it, Joe. But the question was, what did I have to bypass on the old winch truck to get it running? I had to bypass the old electric fuel pump that was on it to get it going. So let's see. Kevin says, auction the Hudson badge and throw it in the jet in the yard. Yeah. Nate says, let's give it a shot. If it doesn't work, we can always go back to the raffle. Sam Fisher says do it with an 85 Chevy K10 rolling chassis. Buchanan says, you big raffle or little raffle. Let's see. Some stuff popping up on Facebook. Lance loves the NAPCO too. Let's see. Trying to keep up with some of this stuff. BW's garage is still trying to buy the Hudson badge. So I'll see. Maybe I'll see if I've got another one for next week. But Lee says do a raffle. So, all right, we'll do it. I'll tell you what, I'll find something small for next month, maybe a couple badges or some license plates. Maybe we'll do a little bit of a mixture next week and for January, and we'll see how it goes. So I'll get, and maybe it'll be a couple of little different things to kind of add up to where there's a little bit of quantity to it. So maybe we'll do a small raffle next month and see how it goes. And I may maybe we'll try an auction piece too. Maybe we'll try a small raffle and one auction piece and see how it goes. So keep that in mind. We'll try an auction piece next week as well. But I don't want to have the extra winner have to put extra money in at the end, Lee. I don't want to do that either. Sam, aren't you in Tornado Alley? Yes, we are. But I've never seen one. I've lived in Kansas my entire life. I have never seen a actual real life tornado. they are out there. It does happen, but I've never personally seen one. Steel Ponies likes Lee's idea. Yeah, but I don't want him to have to throw extra money in. But we'll try a small raffle. Number one, that was a good question about the NAPCO V8 badges. Did aftermarket companies make badges for the cars and trucks they modified? Sometimes they did. Marmon Harrington trucks had Marmon Harrington badges on them. So, big job. Robbie from Pickers, get him and other people like that. Yeah, that's pretty tough to do, getting some of those guys. So, getting those guys, on for stuff like this is really difficult. So what year was the Hudson badge? This was, according to the AmericanAutoEmblems.com, early 20s. Early to mid-20s is what the era of this one was. So big job. Get some other knowledgeable car guys on with me. So Joe says, NAPCO Power Pack badge. Don't have any of those. Scott, do you have any slot cars? Don't really have any slot car stuff, no. So Roddy, since I'm relatively new here, how would I get my info to you for a raffle or an auction? And that's what we talked about earlier as far as the PayPal thing. If we use PayPal friends and family, it will work. But, using friends and using PayPal regularly, it's not. I do still have guys that actually mail. I've got some guys that have actually mailed me cash for the raffle. That information is in the text part of these lives. When you go to, after we get done, if you go back and click on the live video, my mailing information and my, my PayPal information there again decides if, how we're going to do it, is all in there. So, old school, don't get Frank Fritz. Heard he's cheap. I've never met Frank. Know Robbie fairly well, been to his shop several times, met Mike a couple of times, but don't know Mike very well. But they're great guys, but I've never met Frank. So Big Job says I could be the next Johnny Carr son. Yeah, I never thought of it that way. So Kevin's got a 51 Hudson pacemaker he's getting ready to start on. So get Danielle on. I've never met Danielle either. Actually, I just barely missed her. When we flew to Nashville for the shoot, we actually shot on a Monday. She was flying in on Monday because we shot in the morning, and Brad Whitford shot Aerosmith van stuff Monday afternoon. When we went back to the hotel where we were staying at, where production put us at, we went back to the room and stuff. Then I had to run downstairs for something else. And in fact, I think I ran down to the bar to have a drink, and they said Danielle had just gotten there and checked in just a few minutes before I got back downstairs. So I actually didn't get to meet her. I never have met her. So, but anyway, I just know Mike, and like I said, I don't know Mike personally. I've met him a few times. He wouldn't know me from Adam, but Robbie, I do know. I've been to Robbie's shop a lot. And like I said, I called him a couple weeks ago. We had a good conversation, and they're great guys. They're real guys. And they dig this stuff just as much as we do. So anyway, couple more things we need to catch. New inventory. I only picked up one truck this week. I picked up a 1983 F-150. Been a complete blank spot for me. I had absolutely zero 80 to 86 Ford trucks on the ground, and finally got one. Just a basic 6-cylinder automatic 2-wheel drive F-150, but a pretty complete, pretty solid truck. So anything, adding anything like that I didn't have any coverage on is always good. So I did get that picked up. New videos coming out. I've been working on some of that. I worked on some of that yesterday because it was so freaking cold out. But the day before yesterday, when it was pretty decent, went out and Shayla helped me shoot several videos on a lot of this new inventory. But I did go through all my videos. I found one more from my buddy's yard that I hadn't posted yet. I've got that posted. It's not public yet, but I've got it set, ready to go. And I shot 5 or 6 new inventory videos that are going to be coming up over the next couple of weeks. 41 Chevy truck, square body Chevy truck, the 70 C10, the 83 F-150, the 63 Lincoln. So tons of cool new stuff coming up on new inventory videos as well. So William Pritchard, Fire Chief, sign Be Cool. My 56 was an Army truck. 265 V8 Granny. That actually came off a gas pump. Those ones that hung on the front of a gas pump. So let's see. For number one, everything's scrolling through here pretty quick. I'm trying to keep up with stuff. So throw that up for BW. That's right. Talking about those Hudsons from the early 50s, they all had swoopy lift lines, that's for sure. So Rowan's on from Canada. Glad you made it tonight. But anyway, that's what we've got going on. I think what we'll do for next week, after getting your guys' opinion, is we'll try a little bit of both. We'll try another raffle. I'll get a few, and I think I'll do just kind of a miscellaneous. Maybe I'll get a badge. Maybe we'll get a couple of license plates, something like that to kind of make a little bit of a mixture and see if anybody digs that and see what people go with on that. Thanks, Lance. Appreciate you being here. Vero, got a 61 Comet S22 two-door, anything for that? Don't have anything for that at all. I've got one early 60s Comet. Everything else I've got are Falcons, and it's just a basic four-door, and I don't remember exactly which year it was. Did I come across any FJ40s? I think those are the Toyotas, and I don't do any Asian stuff at all, so I don't have anything like that if that's what that is. So anyway, Daniel signing off. Glad you made it. See, Shopcat, 8 gas and diesel. Okay, Rowan said those were the Toyotas. Yeah, and I don't really do much of that stuff at all. So Kenny says, thanks for another good show. Appreciate your knowledge of the forgotten classics. So we'll do that. We'll go ahead and do another small raffle for. Yeah, and Land Cruiser, same way. I just, I don't know anything about it. I just stay completely out of that market on all that stuff. Not a lot of them in my area. Don't know much about them. Other than the one we did blow one up on 4th of July a couple of years ago. That was kind of entertaining. We actually blew up a Land Cruiser. That was actually really interesting. Obviously, I ought to see if I can find that video. That was actually I'd forgotten about that, and we blew up that Land Cruiser. That was good. So we'll do I'll put together a small raffle, and we'll pick out an auction piece, and we'll see how an auction will work, a live auction where we'll look at something, we'll talk about it. Everybody can throw their bids out there, and then when the bids kind of slow down, we'll just put it on like a 60-second timer. I can just grab my phone and bring up the timer on it, and we'll let it run on out and see what happens. Buchanan Auto Sales, 28 to 34 Kansas plates. Okay. I may have some extras on some of those. So Joe says, great show. See you next week. Glad you're here. Number one, hold on. This entire time we could have been blowing up imports. Actually, I had a buddy that had a 4th of July deal for several years, and that's what we did every year. We blew up a Honda one year. We blew up that Land Cruiser one year. We blew up a Toyota station wagon, and I think we got, and usually it would blow the windshields out of them, so we would start measuring. That last one we did, I think we blew the windshield like 70 feet. It was pretty epic. So I had a video when we blew up that little Toyota station wagon too, so those were actually pretty cool. Number one says, I'll chip in $20 to blow up a 98 Cavalier. So must have something against 98 Cavaliers. So, yeah, that's all right, Shopcat. I'm just trying to keep, I don't want to miss anybody's important comments. I know some of you guys have been chatting on there. I'm just trying to I don't want to miss any of anybody's important comments as we're going. So Steel Ponies, thanks for a great show. Appreciate that. Give me a call tomorrow. Absolutely. That's great. Glenn says, thanks. Awesome show. Also, yeah, we did blow up a Honda one year. We did. That was one of the first ones we did, actually. Big Job says, good show. Shopcat says, number one, are you volunteering an import? I talked to the first guy that called the Auto Bianchi. Should have the check tomorrow. He said it is on the way. I know I've got a couple of you guys to call back on the Auto Bianchi. I'm waiting until I get the check in my hand. He said he has sent it. And he actually said he found another Auto Bianchi that had been used for a rodeo clown car. that has a good floor pan and a good drivetrain that he wants to put into this body, believe it or not. So we'll see how that turns out. But yes, as of I'm waiting for the check, and I'm gonna get everybody called back on the Auto Bianchi. So Norma says loves the cool show, loves this. Let's see. Nate says an awesome video of a Tesla getting blown up. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I did see part of it. Brad, glad we aren't the only ones from Central Kansas to blow up imports. Number one is like way too excited. I can't believe we can blow stuff up. So I know Rusty Nails, I do not have Cash App. We were discussing that earlier. That's something I might need to look into. So number one says that's my thing, blowing stuff up. My neighbor is demolition in the Russian army. So Shopcat brings up a good point. Whoever said we weren't supposed to blow stuff up? Good point. Rowan, 50s Internationals. I've got a lot of 50s International stuff, just no FJ's 40s. There was as a last part secret about his neighbor in the Russian army blowing stuff up. So, let's see what else we got going on here. Totally VW says auction he's in. And like I said, we may try to do PayPal, just friends and family. Yes, Kevin, we did new inventory. I only picked up one thing this week, 83 F-150. We did catch that. That's the only thing I had time to go get. Try to get a few more things picked up this week. Number one, seriously, can we pick a car on a financial goal and maybe next year we blow it up? That might be an idea too. William Pritchard, first time, but love the show. Always keep watching and look for parts. Great. Glad you made it. Glad you found it. Found us Vero early comments and Falcon 60 to 63 two-doors. I've got a 61 two-door that just came in, and I've got another 62 or 63 two-door that's fairly heavily stripped. So I may have a little bit of that. So Jason says, congratulations to everybody that drank too much. So speaking of which, Hudson badge. Big Job says we can finance the explosives with a raffle. Scott, I'm not into four doors unless it's a wagon. And I love wagons too. I think everybody loves wagons. I'm a huge wagon fan. Lance, Jeep Willys stuff, nothing really at all. I've got some Willys cars, but no like 50s Willys Jeeps or trucks. Just some cars, and I don't have any like the CJ stuff or anything like that. So, let's see. Do we do PayPal or what? We can do PayPal, friends and family, but that's the only way I would do it with their new rules. So as long as it's friends and family, that's fine because of the fee situation. Because that I should be able to there's no fees, so I should be able to refund that if there was an issue. Kevin says, thanks. See you on Tuesday. Number one's already to send. He's already ready to send money for boomsticks. Buchanan Auto Sales says he'll donate an import. We have to visit North Carolina. I've got a few out there that we could blow up, so that's not a problem. Kevin says good show tonight. Kevin says Kevin Homer says don't forget the like button. Appreciate that. Old School says see you everybody. Number one says I think you just have to click the button that it's a friends and family payment. You don't have to like make friends on there or like classify somebody as a friend. You just click the payment as being a friends and family payment, and so that it goes through that way. So anyway, it looks like we're about done for the night. Rowan, old Bronco Scouts and FJ40s. Yeah, yeah. I do have a couple of Scouts. Don't have any Broncos. So, but yeah, we haven't blown any. That was a long time. It was probably 6-8 years ago when we blew that one up. So. Anyway, that pretty much wraps up what I've got tonight. Got to figure out the payment stuff other than everybody wants to use friends and family on PayPal. Or as always, you can still send a check or money order for raffle entries or T-shirts. We've still got T-shirts if anybody's interested in T-shirts. But Shopcat says he probably should go get back to work. Throw that up one more time for BW. And I guess we'll wrap this thing up and call it a night. But great crowd tonight. Great turnout. Appreciate everybody being here. And we had a great time. But holy cow, kind of tired. It's just like, it's like, whoa, we're done. I just kind of went down like this. It's kind of like I got to recatch myself. Yep. As a matter of fact, I know there's like a whole bunch of it right over there in that fridge that I can see that I got a pretty good feeling that one's going to come out of here in a little bit. No, Rowan, I don't sell rocket launchers, but that would be a great plan to get a rocket launcher. That would be pretty cool. So, why does PayPal even have friends and family if they don't make money on it? I don't know why, but they do. Super chat from Vero. That's awesome. Thanks. I appreciate that. You know, occasionally we do get the super chats thrown up there, and that's awesome when you guys do it. Super appreciate that to help support what we do here financially. Number one says he's not sober anymore. It all started when BW joined, so it's all BW's fault for making me show the Hudson badge so many times. Randy says, good night, everybody. Great show. Shopcat, anything can be a Shopcat, anything can be a rocket launcher if you operate it wrong enough. I never looked at it that way. That is a pretty epic statement, though. Anything can be a rocket launcher if you operate it long enough. That is so great. I love that. Jason says his wife and daughter are looking at him like he's an idiot. So. But anyway, we'll wrap it up. Vero, appreciate the super chat. That's awesome. I love it when you guys think what we're doing here is important enough to support it financially, even outside of the raffle and things like that. So that's awesome. Super thanks, Vero, for that. Jason says sober's overrated. So Norma, do you have any 79 Ford camper specials? I do not have any that are specifically camper specials. So nothing there. I've got a lot of 73 to 79 Ford pickups, but nothing that was specifically a camper special. I've even got an F-350, but nothing that was a camper special. So it said camper special on it. Big job. Good night, everyone. I think you'll be drinking the wine behind the pulpit. So 20, number one, Cavalier, boom, bang, and bust. Anyway, guys, I think we'll call it a night. Great crowd tonight. We did have a good amount of people on. We are growing. That makes me feel better. There were several weeks it didn't look like we were growing. But you guys are here. We got a super chat tonight. We had a ton of fun. We looked at the Hudson badge so BW can drink again. I'm going to get done so I can go get a beer, finish up my glass of water here, and get ready for this week. So here, that'll be the game plan. We'll do a raffle, and we'll try one auction piece next week. We'll do a couple of badges. We're going to move up in some magazines. We'll get back into some 70s stuff, maybe go on a turkey hunt. Since we've given these other ones away, we'll get those out on the way to the winners. And number one says wants to blow up 2023 cars. That's a lot of explosions. That would be pretty epic, and that would be a ton of explosions. So that might generate some attention from the wrong people at that point. So anyway, appreciate everybody being here. Like I said, lots of new inventory videos coming up. David W. says he's in for the raffle. William Pritchard, I need a number. I'm telling all my car guys. We'll tell everybody to get on here. My phone number is also in the text for this video, as well as all my other videos. My phone number is in there on all the videos I post if you need to call me on cars or parts. But yeah, William, tell your friends, have them join us on Sunday night. Jason said he thinks he's drunk too. So, man, it's been a rough night tonight. Everybody's getting liquored up. I'm going to have to switch from water to beer or something, or at least mix a drink if we're going to get into this deal. You haven't had mixed drink, start hanging out with all you guys. But so that's what we'll do. We'll get some new inventory videos up. We'll do some live Toy Tuesday at 7 o'clock Central Time. Tuesday evening, we'll check out some more toys. I got to get some of this World War II stuff worked in as well because it's pretty cool. So, he means brand new cars, blow up all the new cars. I think that could be too. So I still think that might get some of the wrong people's attention if you start blowing up new cars. So, but anyway, one more time, BW. That's what I've got going. Appreciate everybody being here. Big job, Beans. Give it whole new meaning to plastic explosive. Yep. But I'm going to sign off. I'm going to try to get a few more things done yet tonight. We had a great crowd tonight. We had a ton of fun. I appreciate all you guys' support. We did have a few trolls jump on tonight. You guys took care of them. I appreciate that. Like I said, I don't want to get into a contest with them. I don't want to address them. You guys take care of me on that, and I appreciate it. Your guys' support's great. We'll go ahead and work some stuff up for next week and do it again and have a great time. So stay tuned. New inventory videos coming up this week. We'll do some Live Toy Tuesday at 7 o'clock Tuesday evening and next Sunday night. Hope to see you all back here. Invite your friends. And Jason says it's getting too hard to type, so he must be in bad shape. I hope you don't have to work tomorrow, Jason. But tell your friends, join us back here 7 o'clock Central Time next Sunday night live chat. We'll check out what's going on. We've got Meekum Kissimmee coming up. There's going to be a lot of stuff to talk about there. Some phenomenal cars going to be crossing the block. It's going to be an interesting January. We've got Barrett Jackson coming up. We'll see what's happening with the market. I got a feeling it's going to be bonkers as it has been here lately. And so lots of interesting things happening. Thanks for being here tonight, everybody. Super appreciate you swinging by, spending basically most of your Sunday evening with me, and making this thing what it's turning into. So thanks for being here, everybody. Appreciate your time. Appreciate your support. Appreciate all your ideas to make this thing what it is. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you all next week at 7 o'clock for Sunday night live chat.